Hey, what's up gamers? It's Hoodie the Gamer again, bringing you back to another Dead by Daylight video. So today I'm going to be talking about Survivor perks this time, and how they work, and if you should level up this specific character or not. So let's start off with the original character, Dwight. His three teachables are Bond, unlocks potential in one's aura's reading ability. Allies' auras are revealed to you when they are within a 20-meter range. This is only level 1, but it's still kind of good, in my opinion. It's not like the best, but it's not the worst perk to get from most teachables. You can see your allies around you, and if they're being chased, you know not to get where not to go. Alright, second teachable is called Prove Thyself. For every other survivor working on a generator within a 4-meter range, gain 15% repair speed bonus. This same bonus is also applied to all survivors, all other survivors within range. Gain 50% more blood points for co-op actions. Survivors can only be affected by one Prove Thyself effect at a time. So this just doesn't give you blood points. It also gives you speed when repairing together on a gen. So it means you can gen rush. Like, this is a pretty good perk in my opinion. Like, this is one reason why you should level up Dwight. And his last teachable is called Leader. You're able to organize a team to cooperate more efficiency, increases other survivors' healing, sabotage, unhooking, cleansing, opening exit gates, and chest search speeds by 15% when they are within an 8-meter range from you. Survivors can only be affected by one leader effect at a time. This effect persists on other survivors for 15 seconds after leaving the leader's effective perk range. So this is kind of his worst perk, but it's not the worst out of all the other teachables. So in my opinion, Dwight's pretty decent, so you should kind of level him up, but there's other survivors that's way better than him to level up before you go level him up, which is up next, Meg Thompson. Her first teachable is called Quick and Quiet. You do not make as much noises as others when quickly vaulting over obstacles or hiding in lockers. The vault and hide actions, noise detection, and audio range is reduced by 100%. This effect can only be triggered once every 30 seconds. So this is her worst perk, but it's pretty good in a lot of combos. Let me tell you. But yeah, this perk's kind of iffy by itself, but with other perks, it's a pretty solid perk. Moving on to our second one, Sprint Burst, one of the best exhaustion perks in the game. When starting to run, break into a sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. Causes exhaustion status effect for 60 seconds. Sprint Burst cannot be used while exhausted. You do not recover from exhausted status effect while running. So, this is the best exhaustion perk in the game, apparently. And this is one reason why you should level her up. And now moving on to her last perk, Adrenaline. You are fueled by unexpected energy when on the verge of escape. A 1 health state and sprint at 150% of your normal for 5 seconds when the exit gates are powered. Adrenaline is not hold if you are disabled at the moment if it should take effect and will activate when freed. Adrenaline will wake you up if you are asleep when it triggers. Adrenaline ignores the exhaustion status effect, causes the exhausted status effect for 60 seconds. You do not. Yeah. This is one of my favorite perks in the game. So that's why I leveled her up to level 40. Oh, yeah. So at level 30, you get Quick and Quiet. Level 35, you get Sprint Burst. And level 40, you get Adrenaline. Same go with every other survivor. But yeah, this is her last teachable, and it is really situational when it comes to end game. when finishing all 5 gens, you get like pretty much an insta heal. And not just that, you also speed. Like you have a mini sprint burst basically as well. Moving on, Claudette Moral. Her first teachable is Empathy. Unlocks potential in one's aura reading ability. Dying or injured allies' auras are revealed to you when within a 64-meter range. Empathy does not reveal auras of allies when they are in a direct contact with the killer. So this is actually a pretty decent perk, like Bond, like Dwight's first teachable, but it's only when you can see an injured survivor. So if you see an injured survivor, you know where not to be, or if you have another perk to go, like to save other teammates, then that's where you should be. Like if you have a flashlight, then you run to the injured survivor, but try to be stealthy as much as possible. Next, she has Botany Knowledge. You transform plants found around the campfire into tinctures that slow down bleeding. Healing speed and healing item efficiency are increased by 11%. This is good with self-care, which is her next perk I will be talking about, and it's also good for survivors, and it's also good with medkits, like healing another survivor or yourself with a medkit. But besides that, it's pretty decent, I guess. Perk Self-Care. Unlocks the ability to heal yourself without a healing item at 50% the normal healing speed. Increases the efficiency of healing item self-heal by 10%. So, people keep saying this is one of the best perks in the game, but with me, I don't think so because it's kind of glitchy at the moment, but besides that, if you want to be like selfish and want points for yourself, then I would bring this and just heal yourself with that, so you wouldn't let anyone else heal you. But besides that, it's not really that great of a perk. But if you like to be stealthy, I suggest leveling her up and getting her perks. Moving on, Jake Park. His first teachable, Iron Will. You're able to concentrate and enter a meditative-like state to numb some pain. Grunts of pain caused by injuries are reduced by 50%. Now, this is one of the best perks in the game while injured, because when it's level 3, it's 100% reduce injured sounds, so it means you don't make a single sound when injured. So, if you want to be stealthy, I suggest leveling up Jake. But his next perk, Calm Spirit. Animals seem to trust you as they often stay calm in your presence. Reduces chance of alerting woodland creatures by 80%. Calm Spirit allows you to overcome the urge to scream. This perk is really good when it goes against a few killers, like the Doctor, Clown, and it's also good against other killer perks that make you scream. So, again, if you want to be stealthy, again, level him up, because that perk's also pretty decent, but not compared to Iron Will. His final perk is called Saboteur. Unlocks potential in one's aura reading ability. See hook auras in a 56-meter radius from the pickup spot if a survivor is being carried. Unlocks the ability to sabotage hooks without a toolbox. Sabotaging a hook without a toolbox takes 2.5 seconds. The sabotage action has a 90-second cooldown. So, if you want to be a great teammate and you want to like save them from being wiggled, then bring this perk because it shows you where every hook is, and you can sabotage it with this perk, or you can bring a toolbox that allows you to sabotage hooks. So if you want to be a helpful teammate, bring level up Jake for this perk. But moving on to Nia Carlson. Her first teachable is called Bounds Landing. Agility is uncomparable. After falling from a height, cat-like reflexes reduce your stagger duration from falling by 75% and reduce the volume of grunts from falling by 100%. You start sprinting at 150% your normal running speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. Causes the exhaustion status effect for 60 seconds, blah blah blah. So this, if you are really good looping, you know how to use this perk, but I wouldn't be, if you're not a good looper, like if you're about to start the game, I suggest not getting this perk first. I suggest getting either like Sprint Burst or, yeah, mainly Sprint Burst, if you want to start like, or if you actually want to start getting good at the game when you first start, then I guess level up Nia for Bounce Landing. But besides that, it's pretty decent perk. I use it sometimes. But moving on to our next perk, Urban Evasion. Years of evading the cops taught you a thing or two about stealth. Your movement speed while crouching is increased by 90%. Now, I love this perk, and when you want to be stealthy, I suggest also bringing this perk, because while crouched, you are really fast moving, so you actually, if you crouch, walk, you're faster than normal walking, so I suggest getting this perk if you want to be stealthy. And our final perk, Streetwise. Long nights out taught you to do a lot with what you've got. Reduce consumption rate of item charge by 15% for you and allies within an 8-meter range. Once out of range, this effect persists for 15 seconds. So this is her worst perk, but it could be pretty good if you're trying to do a specific build that involves items, because it reduces the charge, so, or, yeah, reduces the consumption rate of the item charge. So, if you want to keep an item a bit longer, I suggest leveling her up for this perk. Besides that, it's not really that great. Alright, next survivor, Ace for Visconti. His first perk is Open-Handed. Strengthens the potential of you and your teammates' aura's reading abilities. Increases aura reading ranges by 4 meters. So, this is not really a good perk from what people have been saying, but it could be pretty good if you have aura perks. Like if you have Bond, it increases it by 4 meters, or Empathy also increases by 4 meters. But besides that, if you don't have an aura perk, then this is a useless perk to bring, so I wouldn't bring it if you're not going to bring an aura perk. Plus, it's kind of a waste of a slot then. Next perk, Up the Ante. All will be well in the end. You just know it. Your confidence strengthens the feeling of hope for those around you. For each other survivor still alive, grant a 1% bonus of luck to all remaining survivors. This is not a great perk. This is actually one of the worst perks in the game, only because you only get a 1% bonus for each survivor alive. Like, what happens if, I'm just going to say this, if all survivors are dead, one alive, this is a useless perk to bring, so I suggest not even leveling him up for that at all. But anyways, moving on to his last perk, Ace in the Hole. Lady Luck always seems to be throwing something good your way. When retrieving an item from a chest, there is a 100% chance that a very rare or lower add-on will be attached to it. 10% chance of finding an add-on of uncommon rarity or lower. When escaping, keep any add-ons your item has. This is his best perk, but it's not good. Like, his perks are not the greatest, but this is his best perk out of all of them, because you actually get add-ons when opening a chest. Like, if, let's say you get a flashlight, you get an add-on to that, depending on what level it is, that's your rarity you get. But, yeah, besides that, his perks are not great. I suggest not really leveling him up, unless you want items that have add-ons from a chest. But besides that, I wouldn't level him up. Next survivor, William Bill Overbeck. First perk, Left Behind. Unlocked potential in one's aura's reading ability. If you are the last survivor remaining in the trial, you can see the aura of the hatch within 24-meter range. So this is actually a pretty good perk. When you're the last survivor, you can either do more gens, wait for the killer to find hatch, or you can find hatch yourself And if you have a key, you're instantly going to escape, unless the killer has NOED and camping the hatch, just in case he saw you with a key. But besides that, this is a pretty good perk. I suggest leveling up Bill for this, sort of, but not compared to his other perks. So moving on to his second perk, Borrow Time. You are fueled by unexpected energy when saving an ally from a hook within the killer's terror radius. After unhooking a survivor within the killer's terror radius, they gain an endurance status effect for 15 seconds. Any damage taken during that time that would put the unhooked survivor into the dying state will instead apply the deep wound status effect. The survivor has 10 seconds to mend themselves. If the unhooked survivor takes any damage while affected by the deep wound, or if the deep wound timer ends, the unhooked survivor is immediately put into the dying state. This is an amazing perk. It's definitely one of the best. When unhooking a survivor, you're not they are like, oh, you're about to farm me, when really you have borrowed time, so they actually get an extra life if the survivor tunnels. And that means you could probably take a few hits or something. But besides that, yeah, it's an amazing perk, and I suggest bringing it, or leveling up Bill for it. His final perk, Unbreakable. Past battles have taught you a thing or two about survival. Grants the to fully recover from the dying state once per trial. Increases dying recovery speed by 25%. This is a pretty underrated perk. So, it comes in clutch when you're being slugged by the killer, like you're on the ground dying. You can recover fully, only once, but it comes in really handy. Like, it's pretty good in specific builds as well. But yeah, I suggest leveling up Bill because all three of his perks are amazing. So, and if you're into like being a good teammate and or wanting to survive, I suggest bringing Bill or leveling up Bill. But next survivor, Fang Min, or some people say Feng Min. But her first teachable is called Technician. You're a APT handling machinery with the greatest care and precision. The noise is caused by your repairs, and their hearing distance are reduced by 8 meters. On a failed repair skill check, there is a 30% chance the generator explosion will be prevented. So this, if you're a beginner, I suggest leveling her up first. Like, this is the, like, if you know you're going to be bad at hitting those skill checks, bring this perk, because it reduce, like, if you fail it, there's a 30% chance or higher, depending on the level, it won't explode, so it won't make a notification where you're at for the killer. So I suggest leveling up Fang if you're a new member and get this perk. Her next one is called Lithe, or Lith as people would like to say it. After performing a rush vault, break into a sprint of 150% normal running speed for a maximum of 3 seconds. Cause the exhaustion, etc. So when going over, like fast vaulting over a window or a drop pallet, you get to have another sprint burst, but only jumping over those specific things. It doesn't have to be in a chase, but you could just jump over a window or drop pallet and you'd be like gone. This is pretty good with specific perks as well. But I haven't gotten to most of them, so I can't really say. But it's really good with Quick and Quiet, which is one of Meg's perks. So, yeah. I mean, Sprint Burst, people would say bring that over Life. I can agree, but I love Life. So, yeah, I would say level up for this perk, but yeah. Moving on to our last perk, Alert. Your acute senses are on high alert. When the killer performs a rush or performs a break action, the killer is revealed to you for 3 seconds. Now this is pretty underrated perk too, because you could loop with this perk pretty well. Like if the killer like breaks your generator right next to you, and you're right next to a pallet and you can loop around it a bit, like you know he's going your direction, you can start looping it and all that stuff, and you can also tell pretty early in the game who the killer is if they break a pallet or break a generator, unless it's a stealth killer like Michael Myers, Ghostface, or the Pig. then yeah, besides that, it's an amazing perk, and I suggest leveling up for it. Because, yeah, and also, I love Fang or Feng Min, because, yeah, just because. I just love her. Alright, next survivor, Laurie Strode. Her first perk is called Soul Survivor. As more of your friends fall to the killer, you become shrouded in isolation and the killer's aura's reading abilities toward you are disrupted. Every time a fellow survivor is killed or sacrificed, gain a token. For each token, your aura cannot be read by the killer within a max range of 20 meters. For each killed or sacrificed survivor, increases your chance of being the killer's obsession. The killer can only be obsessed with one survivor at a time. So this is actually her worst perk, technically. But I mean, it could come in pretty handy if you're going against someone with like barbecue or uh, Michael Myers that have a specific add-on that can see through walls. But yeah, this is a decent perk, not compared to the other ones, but yeah, get her for beginners. Like I wouldn't buy her. By the way, some survivors you have to buy with money. Some survivors you can buy with money or with shards, which you can get by leveling up. But yeah, I wouldn't get Laurie if you are a beginner, but besides that, yeah, if you like um, being kind of stealthy, I would get this, I guess. Moving on to our next perk, Object of Obsession. A supernatural bond links you to the killer. If you are looking in the killer's direction, your link will reveal your auras to each other. This effect applies only if you are outside the killer's terror radius. As the killer's obsession, this effect applies to a maximum range of 56 meters. Otherwise, it applies to a maximum range of 44 meters. Increases your chance of being... yeah. So this, don't get if you're a newcomer, but if you're a good... like, if you want to be a looper or want to sandbag some people, bring this perk, because... yeah, this perk is like super toxic. If you want to be a toxic survivor, bring this perk. But besides that, if you're a newcomer, don't get it. Don't get it at all. It's not worth it. And our final perk, Decisive Strike. Using whatever is at hand, you stab at your aggressor in a ultimate attempt to escape. After being unhooked or unhooking yourself, Decisive Strike will become active and usable for 40 seconds. While Decisive Strike is active, when grabbed by the killer, succeed a skill check to automatically escape the killer's grasp and stun the killer for 5 seconds. Succeeding or failing the Decisive Strike skill check will disable Decisive Strike. Successfully stunning the killer will result in you becoming the obsession. Increases etc. So, this perk is also a good if you want to be toxic. Again, beginners, if you're not good at hitting skill checks, don't level her up for this, and don't buy her then until you're really good at the game. Then I suggest getting this perk. But besides that, she's pretty decent. Soul Guard, Object, I hate, only because there's really no point, because I'm terrible at looping, but I'm a pretty good survivor, but I mainly play killer, etc. But I do like survivors. And Decisive Strike is their best perk, but I don't use it because I usually sometimes don't hit the skill check, so that's why I level her up only because I bought her, but besides that, no, I wouldn't get her. Next survivor, David King. His first perk is called We're Gonna Live Forever. Your few friends deserve the best protection. Each time you perform a safe hook rescue or take a hit to protect a survivor, gain 25% stackable bonus to all blood point gains up to maximum of 50%. The bonus blood points are only awarded post-trial. So, if you want blood points, I suggest getting this perk, because if you safely take someone off the hook, like if it says on your screen safely unhooked, then you get a stack to this and you get more blood points, or taking a protection hit. But besides that, yeah, if you don't want blood points, then don't get this perk. perk would be useful. But and then but his next perk is called Dead Hard. Activatable perk. You can take a beating when injured, tap into your adrenaline bank, and dash forward quickly to avoid damage. Press the active ability button while running to dash forward. During the dash, you avoid damage. Causes the etc. So this perk's kind of glitchy right now, but people say it's good to dodge killers' swings, but it's actually the point for this perk is to get to a window faster or a pallet so you could drop it, so you have another chance. But I really want to get this perk, but again, it's like his best perk, I guess. But if you want to, if you're if you're a good looper, if you're a beginner, don't get this perk. But if you want to be a looper and stuff, I suggest bringing this perk. But besides that, nah. His last perk, No Mither. You are infected by the broken status effect for the duration of the trial. Your thick blood gallulates particularly instantly. You don't leave pools of blood. Grunts of pain caused by injuries are reduced by 0% at any time. Grants the ability to fully recover from the dying state. This perk is god awful. I won't even get it. Nope. Don't even level up for this perk. It's awful. Like, the only good thing about it is you can recover from the dying state, but killers, if they see you with no mither, they already know, so you're basically dead with this perk. So don't even level them up for this perk. Like, the other two, yes, level up for, but don't even level them up past, like, level 39. Because at level 40, you can get this perk, but, yeah. No. But anyways, that's it for now. I'll do a part 2 for the rest of the survivors another day. But besides that, hope to see you guys another time. And please subscribe to my channel and like this video to see more content. It'd be much appreciated. But hope to see you guys soon. Bye.